Good evening. Just setting up the video, and as you can see on the screen is OBS with the desktop audio minus 7.6 decibels and the mic auxiliary audio at minus 0.1 decibels. Just thought that would be interesting to have a look at the start of the video. Right, I'm going to move that now to one side. So in this video we're going to be doing a flight from LFRB Brest in France over to Dublin on the Pilots for Life Chapter 2, and I'm also going to be explaining how to do the flight plan from Pilots for Life into SimBrief, into the on-nav map, and then go through the procedures, the checklist that I've downloaded today in the Fenix Airbus A320. It should also work for the 319 and the 321. And then I'm going to see how the checklist goes throughout the flight, and what I do then if I've got the procedures right and I'm clearly on it, I'm going to write up my own checklist on what I've said in the checklist today. So I've got to try and be clear and know what I'm saying in order to say that. So we're gonna load up the flight and then we can get started. Okay, so we're in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Got a notification up here, blah blah blah. No, don't need to worry about those. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Free Flight. So let's load into that, and we're going to go into this tab here, which is the aircraft tab, and we're going to change the aircraft to the aircraft that we'll be using for this flight tonight, which will be the Airbus A320 with CFM engines. It's from Fenix. Standard, I don't know what that actually means. I think it's the livery, and it is going to be the Aer Lingus livery. So we're going to click on that, and we can click configure. We don't need to touch anything in here, I wouldn't have thought. We've got the livery. Fuel and payload, we can stick it on full tanks, but you can do this in the sim as well, and all that, so I won't worry about that for now. Tail number, I'm not quite sure what the tail number is. EIDVK, so you can change the tail number, and we'll do it for this flight. EIDVK, and call sign, it doesn't matter because I won't be using the ATC in the game, so we can leave it as filed, my lord, and the flight number as well. So no need to touch any of those, really. Okay, and yep. So we go save and back, and we got the airplane ready there. Departure is LFRB Brest, and if we just come down into it, we'll have all the parking places. Here as well. And we're gonna go there. So we're gonna set that as our departure, and flight conditions. First of all, let's have a look at pilot's life. Let's bring that across. So it is LFRB. And our departure time is 15:45 UTC. So if we go into flight conditions, live weather and time, live, and custom, so we need UTC time, so 15, what did I say it was, 15:45. So let's go for we're looking at, yeah, let's go for about half an hour before. That should be okay. Maybe there. Okay, we can always with the time, yeah, we'll do it from there. So yeah, this is right, live weather's fine, and we can go back. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it in line with what's on here. You don't have to follow these times, but I will for now. So let's just move that across. So once we've done that, we can start the flight. Yeah, I've missed a step. I've missed a step, and I don't know if I can do it. While the game's running. No, I'm gonna have to come out of the game, I think. No. Alright, 1 second. Okay, so now we've started the flight, and we've loaded, the aircraft is loaded at LFRB Brest Airport, and we've got ready to fly there. Obviously at the minute there's no traffic around us because I've not started beyond ATC, which we'll be using for today's video. We'll go through all that anyway. So what we do now, we're going to click on ready to fly. To get rid of this, I've got it mapped as page up. To get rid of the TOBR tracker, home key, and I've got zoom setting keypad 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now as you can see, the aircraft has actually started up in a turnaround state. I wanted to start it up in a cold and dark situation for this particular flight tonight. So I've got to figure out now which one that is. So it's going to be, yeah, so we're on this one. So we're going to go cold and dark, and we're going to activate it because I want to set the aircraft up from a cold and dark situation. Okay, there we go. You have to excuse me a little bit of being in the world of X-Plane 12, and so I'm back in this, so yeah, never mind. So if you press the page down key, no, it's not the page down key, the end key, take us to the outside view. The page down key I think is the taxi ribbon. Now so you've got the GPU there connected, so it's ready to go. And yeah, I wish you could put the stairs and doors open and stuff first, but you can't. So I'm just gonna put on the light so I can see what I'm doing here. I've got a written down checklist, half written down checklist, and I've got an actual checklist as well. But before I get into the checklist and get this aircraft up and running, I'm going to start the other stuff that I want to start in the game. The first one I'm going to start is erect Satmos, and here we go here. So just wait for it to come up. Normally I click in settings and it's done. So Atmos, let me see if anything's been updated. No, so we're going to go into Home, and I'm going to go into Favorites, and I'm going to use this one. Don't think I used anything else. I think it was just an Atmos set. Let me try it. Okay, that's it. I don't use weather. That is it. And then that can go into the taskbar. As you can see, it is actually raining within the live weather. So at this point I'm also going to bring up Beyond ATC as well, which will load on the second screen, but I'll bring it over. But don't have to do nothing with it yet, because I'll generate the flight plan first before I mess around too much with Beyond ATC. So we'll put that over there. I can stay there. Okay, so I think that's all the stuff I've got. It won't load the aircraft yet until I press fly and Beyond ATC. I'll do that in a bit. So we're gonna go into the aircraft. There we go. So we're in the cold and dark Airbus A320 by Fenix. Okay, and we can press that to power up the APU, which is what I wanted. And we click on this one, we can go into ground services, and obviously because we're in the aircraft, the doors literally should be open. So we can put the stairs on there like that, and that should, yeah, so So we've got the stairs that we use to board the aircraft, and while we're there we can put the rear stairs on as well, and we can also open the forward cargo as well, and maybe the rear cargo. As well. Okay. Chocks and cones are in place. I have a fan engine, no doubt. We've got the GPU connected, and we can also connect the PCA as well. If you turn that off, the noise goes away. So the PCA adds that sound effect, it adds the noise. Okay, and that's all we need to worry about in that one. In here we've got all different kinds of options that you can go through, but it's all going to stay as it is. Don't need to worry about any of that. Got your cabin stuff here, got all your controls, auto jetway simulation, auto door simulation, auto brightness simulation. So it just does automatic for you. And you can have all the call outs on if you want to add all the call outs on as well, and your weights and stuff there. GSX if you've got GSX, cabin announcements and stuff all there. Don't need to worry about anything else at the minute, so we'll leave it there. Okay, so back into the aircraft then. I'm going to bring up the procedures I'm looking at, which are this one, but I've also got some written down, so I'm going to go off this one and I'll go off the one I've written down, and we're going to obviously keep it clear and try not to go back on myself, or try not to mix things up, because I want to write these down at a later date to make my own checklist. Okay. So on this preliminary cockpit preparation, you can see here where you've got wipers, landing gear, thrust levers, engine masks on and off. You can check all this if you want to keep it immersion and realistic. I'm not going to check all this because I know it's all done, so I'm not going to worry about this on this particular flight. This is why I'm going to make my checklist a bit more simpler. Right, and as you can see, where you've got all this kind of stuff here as well, if you're using ground power unit, or if you're not going to use GPU, you're going to the APU, etc. So the first thing we're going to do is move this one out the way. So I'm going to go off both basically. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press keypad 4. It takes the overhead panel, and because this is an Airbus, we've got batteries here, so we're going to click on the battery switches, and once we've done the battery switches, we've got exterior power, which would be ground GPU exterior power. It's available, so we're going to click it on. Then after we've done this, we're going to go down to strobes, and we're going to click on auto. Navigation lights and a logo can go onto 1. Crew supply on. Emergency exit lights, which are here, which are EMR exit LT, emergency exit lights, armed. The light goes out. No smoking. Auto, but you can put it on as well because there's no smoking allowed in the flights these days. Navigation panel, known as the adders, set to nav, so the IRS can align itself. We haven't got in this particular model the addon mode here that tells you how long you've got left until the IRS aligns itself. I think I've got it set to instant in the settings, but in the Boeing 737s you do have a panel up here that tells you down like 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes. You should get it in the Airbus as well, but this isn't modelled in this in this one. Never mind. As you can see, it's quick. I've got it set as instant, I think, so it should line up. Or it's fast. I can't remember. You can have it set to real, which obviously does it in real time, but I don't know what it's set on. In here, I don't know if you can actually set it within the tablet. Let's have a look. No, nothing there, nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah, I don't know if you can actually set it within the tablet. Not really sure, but we'll see what happens. It's still aligning. So that was off. I went off my written down checklist for that, and if I go on to the checklist I downloaded, it comes up with some the tests and stuff like that. So you got your a minute tests and checking your spoiler, checking your flaps up, and all stuff like that. It also goes on to say start the APU, but you don't start the APU until just before you taxi, before you push back. So we're not going to do that. And then it's got a lot of stuff here as well. But after that, it's basically onto the FMC, and doing getting your flight plan clearance and stuff. So we're actually in turnaround mode now. So if you start the aircraft up in turnaround mode, you'll be pretty much in this state, apart from these, because these will already be aligned. But like I said, it's there's no indication up here about any of that aligning. At this point, I could decide to just put it back in turnaround mode and load from there. Which is I think what I'm going to do, because I want to show you the cold and dark setup to to the aircraft. That's all I wanted to show you, and that's all you've got to do. What I've just done is to get the aircraft into the turnaround mode. So if I then go into panel states and click on that one and activate, and obviously we've just got to open the stairs again. And as you can see, the difference was that is now aligned. So when you do it in turnaround mode, you haven't got to align it, it's already aligned. But if you go to F4 at the top, they'll be in that mode anyway. But everything else should be as it was when I just started it up from a cold and dark situation. That's the only difference. There's no other difference at all. So that's why I just want you to go through that so I can write it down. Okay, so now we've done that, the next thing to do now is to set the flight plan up. And to do that, we're going to go back into a pilot's life. Now, I did set the time for 3 o'clock in the sim. It might take me longer to do all this. But we'll see how we go. First of all, I'm going to change the cruise altitude to 36,000 feet. For this particular flight, try and do that before you load the flight plan, not after. So whatever flight you're doing, put your cruise altitude in. And as you can see, we're in the pre-flight stage, and then we're going to click on Sim Brief Dispatch, which will bring up the browser and the Sim Brief by Navigraph. Now, as you can see, because we're working for an airline in pilot's life, the default aircraft to use for the airline is the ATR, so we'll come and change that in a minute. But we've got the airline, which is Emerald Airways, but Aer Lingus. The flight number for this flight, departure, depart, and your alternative airport, just in case. This always sets on real time, by the way, so you literally do have to come down and change the time if you want to depart at the time it says in pilot's life. Otherwise it will just set to whatever time you've got. Your departure time has changed by more than 2 hours. Would you like to select new runways and alternates? Note that it's set any times. Okay, just click yes. Okay, and aircraft, we need to change the aircraft, so we are in an Airbus A320. I think it's this one. Let's check. It's the Fenix, and it's the Fenix A320 CFM. I'm not quite sure what the SL means to that one. I'll just click on that one anyway. I'm not quite sure what it means. Cruise, there. ATC call sign will be there. More options. Obviously, we need to change that to EI DVK. Just fine. It's saying departure runway 07. So that may or not change depending what beyond data C do, and it's time we're going to be coming at runway 28 left, so we shall see. Altitude 30, was it 36,000 feet, was it? Yeah, okay, 36,000 feet. Passengers, I'm going to go auto, payload auto, weight auto, fuel planning, all on auto, so it does it all automatically for me. And there's one thing I always miss, and that is the cost index, which is up here. I'm going to put a cost index, it's normally between 20 and 50. I'm going to put a cost index today for 35. You can leave it on auto, but I'm going to put 35 in and see how we go with that. And apart from that, that is all done. Not going to do any of this because I haven't got Navigraph. So once we've done that, we can generate the flight plan. Okay, and then we come up then with all we see, and obviously there's your cost index. Then if I had left it on auto, it would have come up with a number that it thought was the best thing to do. You got your distance, you got your cruise altitude, your distance, average wind on the route, and obviously you've got all your zero fuel weights and stuff down here, and obviously you've got your air time 1 hour 20, block time gate to gate 1 hour 48. We're expected at 17:33, but like I said, I don't know if we're going to be tight at 15:45. I might have to alter the time in the sim for that to work. And what I do now, I just move this over to the second screen so it's there when I need it. At this point then, we're going to start loading the aircraft. So our next stage loading the aircraft. I'm just looking through these checklists to make sure. No. So we can do the MCDU, the flight. Okay, yeah, we can. So we're gonna now start programming the flight into the flight plan. Hopefully I'm being clear as I run through this. So select the desired system, we need the FMGC. And then we're greeted with this page, and the first thing then we're going to do on this page is perf init, which is this one. And if we were going to do our own route, we'd put in from to and stuff there, but we're gonna do the route from SimBrief, and if we come back over to here, it says tap to import from SimBrief, click on this, so the route comes up. We're not going to worry about any of this at the minute, but it's on there, but we go and then we go back to the MACD and we can put init request. Just clear that one out the way, by the way, and that, and then we get this AOC act flight plan uplink. It means the flight plan has been loaded, as you can see. IFRB to EIDW. Alternative is Shannon, EINN, company route none, and we've got a cost index which was 35. We'll put that in there, and cruise altitude 36,000 feet goes in there. We can also put the flight number in, and if we load up the browser, and that's our flight number there. So it is, and we can just clear that by pressing that, and then we can go EAI 3907. You can probably just put 3907 in. You don't have to put EAI in if you don't want to. You can put a random one as well. You ain't got to put your flight number in, but it's obviously if you've got one, you might as well use it. And obviously, yeah, so we've done that. Clearing the messages, which you haven't got none, and after we've done that, we come into wind and we press the wind request. And then you go, we've got all the wind, and then we can come back to the previous page. And then we want to go to the next page, so we press this button here, which puts us into the CVO fuel weights. Now, we haven't started boarding yet, so we haven't got no CVO fuel weights. But once we get to this part, we want to start boarding the aircraft. Okay, let's just clear that down there. So, keypad number 1. Back over to the EFB. Mass and balance. And obviously, we should get all the weights from SimBrief in here. So empty weight is 44,029, that's correct. CVO fuel weight, that's correct. Gross weight, yeah, but what you can do is resend the load sheet as well, but it all imports it when you pressed on that. Right, and once you've done that, we've got a planned 179 passengers, none are boarded. We can start loading the aircraft. Now, we don't use GXS. We ain't got GXS. Real time will take 27 minutes, so I'm not going to do it in real time for this particular flight, because I ain't got 27 minutes to sit here and waste. Fast time is 9 minutes, so that would be what I probably would use in this situation, but 9 minutes is still 9 minutes, and I want to get on with the video, so I'm going to go instant. So the aircraft is now loaded, and we can get rid of that. And once we've done that, we can send that to the MCDU, and if we go back down to the MCDU, we can see the weights have now all been put in. Like I said, if you had done the real time, it would have took 27 minutes to get that information, 9 minutes in fast time, but we've done it instantly on this occasion. Okay, now we can go to the flight plan page where we've got the flight plan. Now if you press this key here, it goes down, that one goes back up. As you can see, there's our start, we've got a flight plan discontinuity there, and then we've got the rest of the flight plan. We've got waypoints, top of climb, another waypoint, top of descent, that's where we're going to start our descent, and then we come all the way down until we get to another flight plan discontinuity. Now these are there because at this point, between this point here and this point, we would normally have our star, a standard arrival. We won't get that until we get into the flight. If you know what it is already, because if you're not using ATC and so you know what your arrival is going to be, you can put it in now, and then that will clear that out. It's the same with your departure. We haven't got one for departure yet. If you know what you're going to be using for your departure, you can put it in now, and that will clear that one out. But now it's a good time now to actually load up beyond ATC, and to do that we click Fly, and this should load our flight planning off sim brief, the airport and the aeroplanes, and we'll be able to ask for a clearance, and that one we'll get our ACID, standard instrument departure. Okay, but that's going to be our call sign today on there. So if we click on this, we've got ATIS tower, so we can listen to the ATIS information.
30, rain, ceiling 2500 broken, landing and departing runways 07 left, 07 right, transition level 050, bad activity in vicinity of airport, advise on initial contact, you have information mic.
Okay, and if we get rid of that, we can go
information mic
to
1533 Zulu, wind 355 at 10.
Okay, so that came with the tracking. Sometimes it says clearance and stuff like that, and there's different frequencies, but the ATIS information just told us what the runway and stuff would be, and you can listen to that as well. What we're going to do first, we're going to go for radio check.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, radio check.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, reading you loud and clear.
Okay, and we can do a wind check if you want to, but we're going to request our IFR clearance.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, ready for IFR clearance to Dublin.
And we click back on that, we will get it in the text message you just down here.
Irois, expect runway 07 right, Norbu 6 Foxtrot departure, initial climb to flight level 060, squawk 2332.
Norbu 6 Foxtrot departure, squawk 2332. Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, read back correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
Wilco, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Okay, so now we've got a clearance. We have got the runway we're going to be using, 7 right, and we've got our departure. Initial climb to 6,000 feet, and our squat code is 2332. So I'm going to move this onto the second screen. Like that, and we can start putting all this in to the aircraft now. And to do that, we need to put our departure in. So we can click on this one here and departure. Runway 07R, so it's 07 right, and Norb 6F. So have a look, Norb 6F. Obviously, if it wasn't on that page, you'll click on the you'll go down until you find it, but it's there. So we click on that up there, and then insert. and then as you can see now, we've got LFRB 07 right as our runway, and then our departure all the way through. So the route discontinuity is gone from the start of the flight plan. It's just at the end because we don't know our arrival into Dublin yet. If I knew it, I'd put it in now. I can actually guess what it's going to be, but I'm not going to put it in until we get told it. And obviously what we got to do now, our squawk is 2332. So over here, if I just come over, clear, and we can write 2332 in the squawk code. At this point we're on standby. We can put it on auto, or we can put it on. I'm just going to put it on because it makes life simpler as you're taxiing along. So transponder on. Yeah, you got standby TARA. Now you wouldn't normally put this on TA or TARA until you've taken off, but I'm going to put it on TARA now because it helps take the load off you when you're flying. And you've got above, below. When you're taking off you have above, when you're descending you want it below. So, but yeah, so this TARA on now. Okay. Now I didn't set the lights in the actual flight deck. The floodlights is over there. If you want the floodlights on, or you've got the lighting over there as well. And obviously the overhead lighting can go up as well. We are expecting it to go into a dark okay, so that is now done. So we've done that. And that's my paper checklist finished. So let's bring up the checklist I downloaded. And we just got a few things to check in the MCDU. Obviously at this point the aircraft's still loaded. We could just check here. Obviously we've got 3,000 feet, 11,000 feet and stuff, and the aircraft will adhere to them. It will stick to those, but we were given initial altitude of flight level 6,000 feet, so we're going to put 6,000 feet in there in the autopilot, and at the minute it's all in manage mode. So addon's in manage mode, which is here, down, and that means the MCDU is actually doing the managing the flight. And we're going to plan, and we can bring the down to 10, and if we do that we can then click on this button here, or page, obviously page down, page up, and then we can go through our waypoint to make sure it's all correct. Because of the burn this last waypoint, so at that point we should know where we're actually going to be going after that. And once you've done that, we can go back to up to arc, and we can probably set that there, and we can also put that on as well, which gives us a bit more information. And we can so we're already in electrical navigation. On the autopilot, which is where we need to be. Let's go back down to here. Let's just click the across button. That gives us different information on here. Let's just go back to perf and see we haven't got our V1, our VR and our V2 speed set, so we're going to set them now. And we do those in this one. So the runway we got is we got LFRB runway 07R. Is it dry? It was raining, wasn't it? So click on wet, it's in the load sheet. The flaps are going to be using is 2. We can sync the weather, and then we can press calculate, and that'll give us our speeds, and then we can send them to the MCDU, come back down, and they're in. So V2 150, add 15, so 60, 65. But actually, as soon as we've done that, the speed goes away into manage mode. So we don't need to worry about it because the aircraft will worry about that for us. Click on next phase, and now we're just checking out as we go along.
Descend to 4,000 feet, QNH1019 Achala 607 Foxtrot.
Okay. Yeah, just I'm not sure if you heard me over the ATC, so yeah, just clicking along, just checking the flight management computer now. What will the Mac do? Keep getting confused. Make sure it's all in. This is your cruise. And we've got our descent, and we'll have our arrival and our go around phase there. So all you just want to do is just go through all the pages and just make sure it's all done. And just check we've got a company message, so we need to clear those company messages, so we go into ATC communications. Return, AOC menu, receive messages, and they're just the load sheets. Just want to accept them. Return, accept, return, accept, and return. Just keeps
Calair 607 Foxtrot, turn right, heading 315.
Keeps that happy.
Turn right, heading 315.
On the second
607 Foxtrot.
computer, I normally put it into program mode.
Calair 607 Foxtrot, descend to 3,000 feet.
And
Descend to 3,000 feet, Calair
we are
607 Foxtrot.
almost, I'd say we're similar at the boarding. We are pretty much done with the boarding now. So let's go back up to the overhead panel. Remember, there's no white light allowed on the
Chalair 607 Foxtrot, 3 miles from IB 07R, turn right, heading 035, maintain 2,500 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared RNAV runway 07 right.
no white light allowed on the Airbus.
Turn right, heading
Turn
035
this
to
down a minute.
2,500 feet until established.
Okay, because I can't hear myself with that on. So yes, there'll be no white light on the Airbus. We'll come back to that. Very shortly. So let's come back out to this. There's nothing else to do in here now. We've got all our flight information there as well. So we'll come back out to ground services, and if we come into ground services, we can close the doors and we can get rid of the stairs at this point, and we can actually close the cargo doors as well, because we are going to be pushing back very shortly. Okay, so everything is done. Passengers are loaded, passengers are on board. The MCDU is done. One thing I also at this point want to do it now, is PWS, which is the wind shear, put to auto. And a little trick with the Airbus to get the passenger stuff coming through is to do that. Maybe on both sides, maybe, I'm not really sure. And once you take off, you reset it, and it should reset the reset it all. Obviously you can open the door, but there's no one in there. Okay. Put the lights on the console, put the floor light in. We're happy with the MCDU at this point. We've put the transponder on, we've done it early. And obviously we've got the doors all closed now. So if we come over, we want APU, so we're going to put the APU there, and the APU switched on. Go back to the overhead panel, and now we're going to go for the overhead panel starting from here, and we're going to go just check there's no light on. Going to put the fuel pumps on. That's all the fuel pumps on. Seatbelt signs on.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vera,
The
and
dome
I'm
should have been on at the start.
The fasten seatbelt sign is on, so if you haven't already done so, please stay or carry on luggage underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin.
And that's it.
Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt.
We're going to put the beacon
Also
light
make sure
on,
your seat back and folding trays are in their
because
full
we'll be
upright
starting the
position.
APU.
If you are
And
seated
we're going
next
to do
to an
that now,
emergency
so
exit, please carefully read the special instructions card
APU,
located
master
by your
switch
seat. If you do not wish
on.
to perform the functions described in the event of an emergency, please ask a flight
Start.
attendant to reseat you.
On.
We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is prohibited on the entire
And we can
aircraft,
watch it
including the lavatories.
do its thing down
Tampering
here.
with, disabling, or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight attendants. Thank you.
What time is it? 15:52, so we're actually running late. I knew we would. So the APU is obviously rising, the flaps open, and the APU is rising. Let's put the volume back up. On there. So the APU is 1%. If you go to outside view, you can see that by looking from behind the aircraft. As you can see at the minute, there you go. We need to go back inside the aircraft, press F4, and we need to APU bleed. At this point now we are ready to push back. Just double checking the checklist I downloaded, which would be pre-start. So the APU master on, start on. Obviously the weights are done, the takeoff performance is done, and the V1, VR and V2 speed is done. So now we are ready to push back. So in order to push back, we need to request pushback from beyond ATC. And to do that, on beyond ATC, I have to go into tower. You might be on ground. You might have to go to ground at some airports, but on this one it was tower, and we're going to request a push and start because we're pushing back and starting. If you didn't need a push back, we'd be request a start only. So too many things open at the same time, so I'm just trying to get this second screen. There you go. So yeah, let's get to request push and start.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, ramp 4 request pushback and engine start.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, Britannia Tower, pushback and engine start approved. Face northeast.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face northeast, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Okay, so there's a few ways we can do this now with the pushback. We can either use this tool here, which is what I normally do. This is what I normally do, or you can use it within the aircraft itself. I'm just going to use this one because this is the one I normally do. So I'm going to click on manual pushback. Obviously by doing this you're not going to see an aircraft tug there. By doing that one you'll probably see a tug. I don't know if you do or not, I don't know, but anyway. So release parking brake and reverse.
Cabin crew, doors to automatic and cross-check.
I always bring the speed down slower because that gives me more time to simulate okay, it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing there, so I'm going to stop pushback and play the parking brake. Don't know what it's doing there. It could be because I've left the chocks on and the PCI on. I should have turned them off first. It could be that. Let's try it again. It's never done that before, so manual pushback, release parking brake, reverse. No, yeah. That's, I left the chocks on. So I should have turned off PCA at when the APU started and fired up. When I pressed on that, I should have then turned off PCA as it wasn't needed, and the chocks and cones should have come away just before pushback. So at this point we'll bring the speed down a little bit, because if you had audio on, you'll be able to start the engines at this point. So start the engines on the Airbus. We come down here and we ignition, start. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I should have put on. No, the beacon's on, so that's fine. Okay, yeah. Engine number 2 on. And you can see stuff starting to rise up there as well.
Good afternoon, and you're all very welcome on board this Aer Lingus flight, which will be departing shortly.
There's engine
In
start.
preparation for departure, please ensure your seatbelt.
If your engine 2,
securely
leave it up.
fastened,
I think you have to start the get engine first on the Airbus. I can't remember, but it don't matter. Just the opposite way around.
All window blinds must now be open. Smoking on board includes. Lavatories are fitted with smoke
So
alarms.
we want
Please
to
be advised
return
that
in
tampering
the
with these or removing any safety equipment such as
pushback
seatbelts or life
there.
jackets is a serious offence and may lead to prosecution. We're very pleased to have you with us today, and we hope you're comfortable and enjoy your flight. Please ensure that all personal electronic devices, including mobile phones and tablets, are now switched to flight safe mode or the equivalent airplane
and we
mode.
can do the same for
These may be used throughout the flight
engine
once in this setting. Laptops and larger portable
number 1.
electronic devices must not
The
be
left
used
engine.
during taxi, takeoff or landing, and must be stowed securely in cabin baggage, either under the seat in front of you or in the overhead locker.
As
If
you
your
be getting
device
the
does not have
APU
a
born in,
flight
we'll
safe or
sort that out
airplane
in a
mode,
bit.
it must now be switched off and remain off for the duration of the flight. If your device becomes damaged, overheats, emits smoke, or becomes trapped within the seat structure, please inform a member of the cabin crew immediately. Finally, if you are wearing headphones, please remove them for the duration of the safety demonstration. May we now draw your attention to the safety features of this aircraft. This is an Airbus A320. To fasten your seatbelt, insert
increase the
flat
tug
metal
speed a
end
little
into
bit.
buckle. To secure it around your waist, pull firmly on the strap. To
We
open
are
the
going a bit
seatbelt,
slow there.
lift the buckle cover. There are 8 emergency exits, all of which are clearly marked by red exit signs. Floor path lighting will guide you to these exits in poor visibility. There are 2 doors at the front of the cabin, one on the left and one on the right. 2 doors at the back of the cabin, one on the left and one on the right. And in the centre of the cabin at rows 12 and 13, there are 4 overwing exits, 2 on the left
And we can start the
and 2 on the
pushback.
right.
I'll apply the parking
must be
brake.
clear for takeoff and landing. Please
And we
take a
can get rid
moment
of
now
that.
to locate your nearest exit, bearing in mind that the nearest usable exit may be behind you. Should you need to use one of these exits during an emergency, please leave all cabin baggage behind and make
Back
your
on
way
the
to
overhead
nearest
panel.
usable exit. There is a life jacket in a package under every seat. If
Turn off
instructed
the
by the crew
APU
to use
bleed.
this, remove it from the package and place the jacket over your head. The long strap should be wrapped around your waist to the front. Secure the clip.
Just checking the
and pull
overhead
tight.
panel, make sure we
Each
haven't
jacket
missed
has a
anything.
light and a whistle to attract attention. Inflate the life jacket by pulling the red toggle sharply. It can also be inflated by blowing into the red rubber tube. Jackets must only be inflated once you are outside the aircraft. There is a safety information card in the seat pocket in front of you. This card contains important safety information.
All aircraft be advised
Should this
information
happen,
November now
remove
current
any face mask or face shield you may be
QNH1019.
wearing. Stay in your seat and pull the mask firmly towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth and breathe normally.
And we can set
You
the
can secure the
flaps
mask using the elastic band. You must
to
put on
2,
your own mask first
and we can
before
arm
assisting children or other passengers. Cabin lights will be dimmed
the
for
ground
takeoff and
spoilers.
again for landing. This is a normal safety procedure. The cabin crew will now pass through the cabin to ensure it is secure for takeoff. Please comply with
Yeah, and
any
we are.
requests they may have. Thank you for your attention.
We are running out, yeah. And we can also, on this one, we want to put it onto flight control.
We will be shortly dimming the cabin lighting for takeoff. This is a normal safety
We can turn that
procedure.
off.
If you do require any additional lighting,
We need
there
to
is a reading
get our
light
taxi
in the panel
clearance.
above your head. We will be taking
Gemstone 7 Bravo, taxi for departure.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, runway 07 right taxi via Yankee, Charlie.
All right, we'll taxi to runway 07 right via Yankee. Charlie, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Okay, so we've got our taxi clearance, so we're going to put our taxi light on. The taxi. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? I don't know what I've done. Turned it all off. 1 second. Bear with me. Okay. So we push back, engines are running. We've got our taxi clearance. Just doing some final checks.
Cabin crew stations for cabin secure check.
Cabin's ready, APU available, and parking brake. That should be switched back to normal mode. So, okay, so we're ready to go. turbine track on at this point and press the W key to move forward. Check the flight controls, everything's working, and we can taxi away. Stick off turbine tracker a minute. Parking brake is oh yeah, on my joystick.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now request your full attention as the flight attendants demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fittings one into the other and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight, as we may experience turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you.
Pilot's life a bit of a chance to catch up.
The aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide which may also be detached and used as a life raft.
I'm going to request departure.
Oxygen and the air pressure are always being monitored. In the unlikely event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will automatically appear in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the
landing lights can go.
If you are travelling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first, and then assist.
Taxi lights can go on.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Yeah, I interrupted that because I put the taxi landing lights on. Because I'm going onto the runway. Because it's a short taxiway, it didn't have a chance to finish what it started. So we're going to go down to the end of the runway and backtrack on ourselves. Hopefully this has come across clear from what I've done up till the cold and dark situation up to where I am now, because I want to go back on this video and write it all down. Most of the time I will start from a turnaround position. So in the EFB, turnaround with other ground power or PCA power is going to be my default starting point. So all I'm going to need to do is write down anyway what you do from a cold and dark situation, but obviously at the same time as well, just go through the checklist of from the turnaround point. That only saves a few minutes, but I find the aircraft's load better sometimes if you load it from a turnaround point. If you sometimes from a cold and dark, they tend to misbehave a little bit, in my experience. So, but hopefully the stuff I've done has been clear. So when I look back on it, so I want to make a checklist, it's in some sort of order. I think I've done it in the order. If I'd miss some out and go back, I'll have to change it. But I think I've done it in some sort of order. So we're going to have to turn the aircraft around. I'm not using the eye tracker at this point. So I'm just going to line up. There we go. I'm just going to put the parking brake on, and I'm just going to make sure I've got everything set up. Just make sure there's nothing on the overhead panel again. Landing lights are on, the takeoff light is on. Navigation and road lights, I'm going to put them up to 2 now. I should have done that probably anyway. Maybe I should have done that before taxi. Or I could have just put them up to 2 at the initial start. The dome light at this point would normally come off. But again, it doesn't really matter. It depends on what you're simulating. Yeah, that's okay. The autopilot, and we're going to 6,000 feet initially. Everything else is in manage mode. So that's looking good. The MCDU it's got us here. We can put 36,000 feet in there if you want to, and it will just follow the restraints in the air, but we'll keep at 6,000 feet for the minute because that's what we were told initially. Ground spoilers are armed, flaps set. Engine's looking good. We've got flight control in there. Your toga switch is there, by the way. Well, I think that's always, yeah. You need to, if you want to use that. Floodlights would be off anyway. Let me just check pilot's life. Yeah, we're on. I'm hoping that syncs with it. Yeah, I think that we're all good to go. Landing lights are on, cabin's ready, parking brake left. We would do a takeoff config at this point as well, but I don't know where the button is. So we won't do that. So right, let's bring the power up to about 50%. Release parking brake at 50%. Full power. We're in toga, go around mode. We're at 147. Go, V1, V2, rotate. Didn't call it out for some reason. Gear up. The aircraft should be trimmed, and I'm going to put the autopilot on straight away. So now we're just waiting for lever climb. There you go.
Contact Iris departure
And then disarm the speed brakes, ground spoilers.
Iris, Gemstone 7 Bravo,
we are late.
2,200 feet.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, Iowa's departure identified, climb to flight level 180.
Okay, I'm just going to watch the
Climb to
flaps.
flight level 180, Gemstone
So
7
we're going to
Bravo.
put one set of flaps up, so and we're climbing to 18,000 feet, so we can put that in. And we can go full flaps off, so all flaps are up. Gears up. Ground spoilers are not armed. And the throttles are in climb lever. So now the aircraft will actually follow all this, including the speed and altitude constraints.
While the seatbelt sign above your seat remains illuminated. For your comfort and safety, we recommend keeping your seatbelt fastened at all times.
Lever climb keeps flashing for some reason. I don't know why. It's in climb lever.
During takeoff and to fall out, potentially causing injuries to yourself or others nearby. We'll shortly be starting our BIA food and drink service. You can browse the full menu on the Aer Lingus app, where you'll
Now the QNH is flashing, so we need to change it to standard. So on both sides. There you go.
Or recommendations, feel free to ask a member of the crew as we pass through the cabin. We do apologise if your preferred option is unavailable, as this may be due to earlier demand. Please note that we are a cashless airline. Most major credit and debit cards are accepted. If you have any allergies, do let us know and we'll be happy to provide allergy
over a panel.
Later in the flight, we'll be offering our boutique service with a selection of gifts and luxury brands available.
Everything's fine on there.
Up to 57%.
So we're just watching the altitude, 8,000 feet. Kind of flight level, 18,000 feet. And our speed is obviously keeping
Relax and enjoy your journey with us.
with what's going on here. At this point we also could have put the the transponder on TARA, but it's already on there because we did it earlier. Throttle levers move. I don't know what that's saying because I'm in the I don't know what's going on there, but it seems to have disappeared. Above 10,000 feet. At 10,000 feet we can turn off the landing lights and the takeoff light can come off as well, and the seatbelt signs can now come off. And if you might be running the APU at this point, you can turn that off. Some people leave the APU on, some people turn it off, some people are out on for the duration of the flight, but you can turn it off.
We always recommend keeping your seatbelt fastened while you're seated.
10,000 feet.
In a few moments, the flight attendants will be passing around the cabin to offer you hot or cold drinks, as well as a light meal.
And yeah, we're on our way.
Drinks are also available at a nominal charge. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
So
Thank
we're
you.
on our way to Dollar. Should get an altitude climb to 26,000 feet in a bit. Let me just check a pilot's life. Yeah, it's working. We're in transition from takeoff from cruise. That's fine. Yeah, obviously we're running a bit late, but never mind. I was always going to run late while I was doing a tutorial video.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, contact Brest Control 127.2. Have a good afternoon.
Center on 127.2, Gemstone 7 Bravo. Brest Control, Gemstone 7 Bravo, good afternoon. Climbing flight level 157 for flight level 180 direct dollar.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, Brest Control, radar contact, climb to flight level 360.
Climb to flight level 360,
Okay.
Gemstone 7 Bravo.
now going to climb to 36,000 feet at cruising altitude, and after takeoff we also need to press the reset button on the PA. That's what I read in the instructions, so there we go. And I think that's it now. We just monitor the flight now, make sure we're on target, and we're climbing our speed until we reach the top of descent. Terrain on ND. See if we move over, move up a little bit, we can go through a few things. Obviously this should be on, it's above, it's fine. Yeah, I don't think the weather actually works. I don't think the weather radar it actually works in the sim. Obviously here we're on fuel at the minute, we should have been on flight control. We've got hydraulics, electrical, wheel, door, pressurization, the air conditioning situation, leads, the APU, and the engines. Obviously you would actually monitor all these systems while in flight, as well as monitoring what's going on in here as well. You can increase the range on that if you want to. Yeah, I don't think the weather radar is actually working. Terrain does. Don't think the weather radar works. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it there, see what it's doing. Should we go to outside view? There we go. Going to keep it there for now, so you can just watch this and watch that. And what I'm going to do at this point is pause the video, because there's nothing else to say at this particular point in the video. There's no checklist to go through. I'll come back closer to the top of descent, and that's when I'll start my descent, going for my descent preparations, and we should get the arrival procedure into Dublin at that point as well. So I shall see you very soon.
Road 3, Logan 3 November Alpha.
Okay.
Shamrock 553.
So we are at Moppet at the minute,
Report ready for descent.
and if we click this key here,
For Lima. Runway
we can
28
go
left.
through
Ready for descent. Shamrock 553.
various modes. You've got speed and altitude,
Shamrock 553. Descent
got
to flight
wind.
level 160.
stuff up here. So the
Descent to flight level
top of descent
160.
is
Shamrock
here.
553.
So let's just click out 80 miles.
9 Tango, London Control. Expect Sosnovskoye Tree, runway 22.
So yeah, our next one is Moppet. So it's a good time to actually talk about the descent
Logan 3 November Alpha. Turn left, heading
at this
305.
point,
Vectors for the approach.
and to see what will happen.
Turn left, heading 305. Logan 3
So at this point, you want to check the weather and the ATIS information if you can get it,
Logan 3 November Alpha.
and your flight services.
Approach 119.875.
And if you've got your standard arrival, you want to check that and check the ILS frequencies for your arrival, ILS runway, and get the airport information, check your fuel, and obviously put that information, especially your departure, your arrival, sorry, into the MCDU. So you'll have your arrival briefing, and you talk about your arrival, your transition, your style description, your runway type and approach, maybe discussing the go-around procedure, and obviously extra time of fuel. Guidance for approach, your landing flap settings, use of reverse thrust. You might even discuss your planned runway exit, taxi route, hotspots, and your non-standard or special
Ladies and gentlemen,
procedure
this is
operations.
a brief announcement from the flight crew. We are pleased
You
to
can discuss
inform
the
you that our
risks with
instructional
the
service will begin
conditions of the
shortly.
day
Our dedicated
as well,
cabin
if you wanted
crew
to
will
at
be
this
coming
point.
through the aisles with a selection of delicious meal options for you to enjoy.
You can discuss your descent speeds as well. Obviously at 10,000 feet, landing lights go on, seatbelts go on, and your LS goes on as well at 10,000 feet. And then just check the fuel balance, but we'll go through that when we get down to 10,000 feet. Yeah, we're not going to discuss all that because we're going to sim, but if you're in the real aircraft, you'll probably be discussing that now as you go through it, but I can go through it. So yeah, as always, 10,000 feet, landing lights are on. Wing light can go on, and LS goes on, and your seatbelt signs will go on as well.
Speedbird 97 Alpha Heavy. Contact Shannon Control 132.15. Bye-bye. Center on 132.15. Speedbird 97 Alpha Heavy. Have a good afternoon. Speedbird 6 Echo. London Control. Expect up 1G. Runway 23.
Okay, so while we're still in cruise, and obviously before we get our star, I'm going to press tab and bring up the Microsoft Flight Sim EFB. Go into the flight planner. It never zooms into your location. We haven't loaded the flight planner into this, by the way, so here's a way of doing it. From Simbrief, I'll show you in a minute. We're going to click on EIDW for Dublin, more info, and what I'm looking for is where you can get the weather and stuff like that. You can get the air pressure and the clouds, what's going on there now, and the visibility. The runways, I'm expecting runway 28 out. I'm not expecting that to change. So click on that, you'll get the heading, which is 275. You'll get the elevation, which is 202 feet, and you'll get the frequencies. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm not expecting this to change. So what I'm going to do is do that now while I'm ahead of the aircraft. In the Boeing 737 you could put your landing elevation in up here. I'm just going to check go through all of this up here. The ILS for runway 28 left is this, so you go into here, the radios.
London Control, Easy 14 Charlie X-ray, descending via access 1 Mike, flight level 312.
It does it automatically once you put your arrival in. So we won't do it yet, we're waiting till we put our SID in, our star, and we'll come back to this. But I just wanted to keep this here just so you could see it, and obviously you've got your approach plates and charts as well. Let's 28 left, there we go. So yeah, this should be our approach in, and we should be wanting to get down to 2,500, but we'll sort that out when we get to it. What I wanted to show you was the Simbrief dispatch, which is there, and obviously when we generated the flight we could have saved the flight as well. And then we could have loaded it, and it would have loaded into the tablet, and that's how it works in the Acerbo 737, to load that into the FMC. Yeah, we could have done that if you hadn't wanted to, but we've also got you can also do it this way as well, like I've just done, so it's all here, and we can generate it there. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about that today, but that's how you do it. So I just want to get this information up and ready, waiting. So there we go. Obviously at the minute it's saying enter destination data, so it's telling us we've got no data in the MACD but we don't need it yet. We're still going to go to top of descent, and if we click on this, we still got to go to map app, and we get into our top of descent. So we don't need to worry about that, and we've got an estimated time of 16:04. So we've got a bit of time, and we've got the distance to map out the meter is 46 miles, so we're going to get there till 15:59. So we don't need to call for that yet. But the rule of thumb is you take your altitude and time it by 3. So we're at 36,000 feet now, so you time that by 3. So that's 30, 60, 90, 96, 102, 108, then add 10. So you need about 118 new miles. And when you've got your miles here, so we should be okay. But that's how you would normally do it. And to estimate your vertical speed on the descent, it's your ground speed times 5, which is a good way of doing it. And we've actually got a company message. So it was ATC Communications. Turn IOC menu. Receive message, and our biggest one up here, the AI tops, no ADC required. So we can just not worry about that. Still got the right plane discontinuity in there, but that will go when we put the arrival procedure in. Okay, right, I'll come back when we get closer to the top of descent. Okay, I'm just come back because we've been given our arrival runway. That's us. So I'll accept that. Accept clearance.
Expect bun for Lima, runway 28 left.
So we've been given runway 28 left and bun 4 all. So we'll put that into the FMC.
Contact Shannon Control 132.15, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Very soon. We're just going to the aircraft should straighten up now, and we're going to start our descent. We've gone past Moffat.
Flight level 360.
And we are coming to the top of descent, so we're gonna call for our descent. Now, so we're just call ready for descent.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, approaching our top of descent, ready for descent.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, bun for Lima, runway 28 left. Descend to flight level 230.
Okay. For Lima, runway 28 left. Descend to flight level 230, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
So we put 230 in there. And we want to start that now, so we can do it two ways. We can go flight level change, which should be that one, and that will take us down, or we can do it in vertical speed mode. Okay, and what we want to do now, we want to put our arrival in. So to do that, click on this one, arrival, 28 left we are going for, so it's not there, go down, there you go, and we're looking for unit 4L, so obviously we're looking for Bune 4L, but we've only got Bune 3L, so it's the same thing, it's just a bit of a mix match between the game and SimBrief and that kind of stuff, but it's the same thing. So click on that, insert, and then our flight plan should be okay, but see where it's going. Select heading track first, so we need to come into selected mode, then insert, then we can go back into manage mode. Okay, we can clear that, and then we can see where we're here now. We're going to bunnied, and then we've got our star hub input in. We've got a flight plan discontinuity there, so what we do with this, we press on clear, insert, and that gets rid of that. Just check we've got no more, so we've got max save there, which is 2,400 feet we have to be at by the time we get there. This whole stuff here is the go around procedure, so yeah, 2,400 feet. Our speeds are in as well for it. We've got Lamper as in the charts, so that now is all done for now. Need to descend to 23,000 feet, so yeah, that's what we're doing. The FS is on cluster, which it is. We can bring that back to 20, and we've also got to put the TCAS on below. Yeah, we'll just keep the speed in its manage mode for now. We'll do the rest when we get to 10,000 feet. That's okay.
Contact Shannon Control 127.5. Bye-bye. Center on 127.5. Speedbird 7 Juliet Super.
So 23,000 feet. About 310 knots. We can do the speed ourselves if you want to at this point. We can control the descent by the speed, but we'll let the computer do it for now. See how we get on. And we'll just see, we want to be at 13, we're at 10, and all the way down. But what I was saying about the approach, .28 left, and the Lampo and then we got max over 2,400 feet, ILS 277, so should we check that now? See if that's been put into the computer? Yeah, see, 1135. You don't get the you just 11135. So when you put your arrival in, the ILS frequency goes in automatically. So you haven't got to worry about putting that in. There's Bunnied.
Channel control, gemstone for 3 Papa Zulu, descending landing left Lima, flight level 124.
When we cross Bunnied, we want to be going down to 19,000 feet.
Channel control, radar contact. Channel control, Ryanair 60 Victor Kilo, flight level
We'll see what
0.
ATC tell us to do.
Ryanair 60 Victor Kilo, channel control, identified. Ryanair 60 Victor Kilo, contact London control 118.775, bye-bye. Contact London control 118.775, Ryanair 60 Victor Kilo. Gemstone 43 Papa Zulu. Contact double approach 119.555. Contact double approach 119.555. Gemstone for 3 Papa Zulu.
I am using Beyond ATC in this video, and usually it's pretty good at getting us from gate to gate. So see how it performs on this flight. I've said that just in case I ever use say intentions, so I can compare it, but Beyond ATC usually is pretty good. So obviously we are coming to Bunnied and we want to be down to 19,000 feet, but ATC have got us on 23,000. We can request to go down to 19,000 feet at this point, or we can wait till ATC give us the instruction. So let's try it.
Bravo, request altitude change.
Gemstone 7 Bravo. Roger. Same new altitude.
So let's go down to 18,000 feet.
Request flight level 180, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Gemstone 7 Bravo. Enable flight
Okay.
level 180 at this time.
But what I will do, I will put it in here.
Gemstone 7 Bravo. Descend to flight level 070.
Okay, so
Descend to flight level 070, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
ATC has told us to go down to 7,000 feet, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll put 7,000 feet in the autopilot, press expedite to get us into the descent. You can keep it in this mode, but it puts you in a steep dive, as you can see. It's a very steep dive, so we don't want to be in that mode, but it gets you in the mode initially. Okay, so we're now going to be going under 10,000 feet at this point. Again, we're just keeping the speed in manage mode. Because we're at 20,000 feet, we can kind of bring the speed back to max 67 and manage the speed ourselves. But technically we can now bring the speed down to about 280, so we're ahead of the aircraft. Let's just check a pilot's live and see what that's up to. It seems to be okay. Just bring this down. Look, Durham, if we look down here at Durham, we should be at 13,000 feet, then Keppel 10,000 feet, so you can just monitor your descent. If you're descending too quickly, just change it. Monitor it, I guess. Fortunately, the FNAV operation in the Fenix Airbus doesn't descend you, so you've got to do it yourself. So you can just keep it on this. It tells you the speeds there anyway, so we still should be technically at 307. But I've just brought the speed back a little bit. So we're not so far ahead with the aircraft. Okay, so at Durham we wanted to be at 313,800. So we're just below it, but that's fine. And at Keppel we want to be at 10,000. We don't want to descend down too quick, so yeah, just keep your eye on it. And we're coming down to that 10,000 feet mark. So you can take some of the descent off at this point, because we don't want to descend down too quickly. You can leave your descent later and descend down quicker, which saves fuel and is a bit quicker. You might make up a bit of time, so, but we've obviously descended sort of a little bit earlier, well, when ATC told us to, so. But we don't want to be really too far ahead on the descent. Half arc up there, we only want to be at flight level 8,700, that's 7,000, so we're okay. So we're coming down to 10,000 feet, and this is where we want to start doing some changes. So normally at 10,000 feet, terrain will go on, the landing lights will go on,
Contact Dublin approach 119.555 Gemstone 7
takeoff.
Bravo.
Takeoff light stays off,
Dublin approach Gemstone 7 Bravo.
wing
Flight
lights
095,
go
we
on,
have Tango on board.
and we can put the seatbelt signs to on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
QNH1022
Please
expect the
return to your
ILS
seat
runway
and keep
28
your
left with the
seatbelt
pizza
fastened.
transition. Gemstone 7
Thank
Bravo.
you.
Okay, so we got a QNH. So
Ladies and
we're going to come out
gentlemen,
of standard,
as we start our descent,
and we're going to
please
change the
make sure your
QNH
seat
to
backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure
1022.
your seatbelt is securely fastened and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead
Let's just make
bin.
sure it's the same on this side.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gemstone 43 Piper Zulu. Descend to 3,000 feet.
In preparation for
QNH1022.
landing, please return to your seats and ensure that all cabin baggage
Descend to
is
3,000
securely
feet.
stowed. All portable
QNH1022.
electronic devices, including
Just gonna
mobile phones
bring
and
the
tablets,
descent rate down now
should now
to
be
1,000
returned
feet.
to flight safe mode or
Gemstone
the
43
equivalent
Piper Zulu.
And
airplane
the
setting.
speed,
Laptops,
I forgot, we're down to
larger
250.
portable electronic devices
Cleared
must now be
ILS
switched
runway
off
28 left.
securely stowed, either in your cabin baggage or in the overhead locker.
Cleared directing you.
If you have any rubbish,
This is where you can get
please have them ready for collection when we pass through the cabin shortly. Please also ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. Your tray
it's where
table
you can
is
really
stowed,
get in
and
trouble
your seat back
if
is
you're not
fully
ahead of the
upright
aircraft.
position with the armrest down. All window blinds must now be open. The cabin crew will now pass through the cabin to ensure it is secure for landing. We kindly ask for your cooperation with any instructions they may give.
So we've got 7,000 feet early. We needed to be 7,000 feet here, which is fine. So we've got 7,000 feet now. This is where you'll check the fuel quantity and balance, but we ain't going to do that. We don't need to do that, but if you want to do that, you can do it there. Your flaps up, landing gear up, engine mode selector is normal. Altimeter, we've already done that. So we need to worry about the approach now. I'll put the seatbelt signs on because we're under 10,000 feet. So they're already on. Radios are set. The ILS is set. And we need to put on the LS mode on both sides. So we're expecting the Pisa transition, which if we go down, is down here. Still got a bit of way to go yet. We should start 7,000 feet now for a little bit of time before we descend, but it does depend on ATC.
Gemstone 93 Bravo, Popper, welcome back. Continue. Continue. Gemstone 93 Bravo, Popper.
At this point we've got the ILS frequency there, and we've got the gyroscope indicator coming up because you press the ILS mode. And ILS 28L is there. So it's all in, so we know it's all tuned in. We can just monitor these as well if you wanted to. And you can turn off the terrain if you really want to. You don't need to have it on in the sim, but you wouldn't want to put it on, especially if you're flying into area like mountains and stuff. So, but it's hard to see stuff with it on, so I'm going to turn it off. And we're going to just bring the speed down now to about 220, because it's saying we need to be at 220.
Gemstone 43 Papa Zulu. Contact Dublin Tower 118.6.
As you can see.
Contact Tower 118.6. Gemstone for 3 Papa Zulu.
You are basically flying using this, and possibly the speed and yet altitude up here.
Turn left, heading 195, Gemstone 93 Bravo Papa.
And you're just keeping ahead of the aircraft. We are going to go all the way around. CPs are there, Alampo and Maxi, so we're not going to be descending down to about here, so we've got a bit of time. You've got your flap speeds there if you need to use them as well.
1022, expect the ILS runway 28 left with the Abinu transition. Ryanair 71 Foxtrot Zulu.
We can talk about the approach now. So the seatbelts aren't to be on, they're already on. Radios are set, the ILS is set and we're receiving the ILS. Landing lights are on. Approach mode is not on at the minute, but we'll put that on when we line up onto the ILS, which is there. So that's what we're going to be doing next. And then we'll have obviously we'll go through the checklist as we are on the approach down to the runway. But we are at 220, so we can think about flaps at this point. We can put one stage of flaps in, so we can go flap 1. There you go. And we can go ahead of the aircraft if you want to. So we can also, at this point, we can do the auto brake. But I'll leave it in sync with what I want to do. We'll run through the approach checklist. Fairly soon. Dublin sounds very busy today. Just got to reset the standby barrier as well. There we go. don't want to talk too much and get myself confused, which is why I'll sort of stop myself from going too far ahead with the checklist. I will rather go through it when I'm in that stage of the flight. What I am going to do though is change the altitude here down to 3,000. $2,500, because that's probably what I'm expecting next. And once we get around here, I probably will do that. It is good to stay ahead of the aircraft, but I don't want to jump too far ahead with the checklist. We've already gone through the fuel, we made sure the balance of the fuel and stuff, but I'm not gonna go into that for too much. We can just check the perf, so we're just going to check the perf. I'm going to put 1022, which is the barrow pressure, in there. And this is the approach phase. So we're probably down to 145 on the approach. And you can activate the approach phase as well, but it won't do that until we are on the approach. Making a left turn shortly, followed by a steeper left turn as we set up onto the approach. We can start descending if you want to, but ATC will give us the instruction to descend. I don't want to really annoy them, so I'm going to leave it until they give us the instruction to descend. Like I said, beyond ATC are usually pretty good. In my experience, we have got something called about outer tank fuel. Again, I don't really know what that means. I'll have to look into it.
Gemstone 97 X-ray Tango. Contact Dublin Tower 118.6. Over to Tower 118.6. Gemstone 97 X-ray Tango. Have a good afternoon.
We can, while we're in here, look at our runway length on. So we've got doubling 28 left. I'll put it down as good. Let's just refresh the meter. We can apply that. Medium auto brake. Max reverse. Okay.
Descend to 3,000 feet. QNH 1022. Gemstone.
That's us. So we're going down to 3,000 feet. So I did put 2,500 in. So again.
Cleared direct Pitzer. Cross Pitzer at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS runway 28 left.
Let's put 1000 in.
Cleared direct pizza. Cross pizza at or above.
Let's get that
3000
initial
feet.
descent
Cleared ILS
going.
runway 28 left. Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Ryanair 71 Foxtrot Zulu. Descent to 3000
And if you look at the speeds as well, so
022.
we can actually start thinking about bringing the speeds down. If you want to, because we are going close to the limit of the flaps, so we can bring the speed down.
ILS runway 28 left.
Cleared direct Abinu. Cross Abinu at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS runway 28 left. Ryanair 71 Foxtrot
Let's just
Zulu.
click on that, because just bring that speed down. Okay. Just getting a bit nervous now. Getting a bit nervous because it's doing a few things that I'm not liking here. It's doing something I don't really wasn't liking then. I'll just speak it going back into manage mode. Ah.
2,500.
Bring that speed down because it's doing something I don't like.
All aircraft be advised information uniform now current. QNH1022. Gemstone 93 Bravo Popper. Turn left, heading 025. Turn left, heading 025. Gemstone 93 Bravo Popper.
Need to
Gemstone 7 Bravo.
set
Contact
flaps
118.3.
3.
Have a good afternoon.
Contact Tower 118.6
Bring it
Gemstone
down to
7 Bravo.
145 in speed.
Dublin Tower, Gemstone 7 Bravo. ILS runway 28 left.
Okay. So we're on the approach, so we need to press the approach button, which is there. We get the localizer and glow scope, it's all armed. Flaps are down, I put them on flaps 3. Landing gear down. Auto brake max on the spoilers, and autopilot 2 can go on as well. There's the runway. We can land on flaps 2 as well, by the way.
Ryanair 71 Foxtrot Zulu. ILS runway 28 left.
That should be it.
Ryanair 71 Foxtrot Zulu. Dublin Tower.
Everything else should.
Runway 28 left, cleared to land. Runway 28 left, cleared to land.
Clear that
Ryanair
message.
71 Foxtrot Zulu.
Everything else should be okay. Yeah, we're on the glide slope. We can switch this to LS mode as well. As you can see, we're lined up with the glide slope, so but of course we haven't got to keep it on there. We're in the middle. Okay. Yeah, all lined up. We're in the middle of the glide slope, so it's all looking good. Go to outside view and have a look.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for landing.
Yeah, it's all looking good. We're going to do an auto land today. It's a Cat 3 dual, so we're going to do an auto land. And you can put the train on. That's what
1,000.
it'll be if you put the train on. But I decided to not put that on. What time is it, by the way? Because the clock did go back an hour, so it's 16:38, so 17:38. So yeah, not too bad. Should we ever watch this from the outside view? We can always jump back in if needed. Just see what it looks like from the outside view on the landing. There we go. Not bad. Bring the nose down, there we go.
Double tower, Gemstone 93 Bravo.
There we go.
ILS runway 28 left.
Gonna vacate the runway.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, exit right at Sierra 6.
I'm not sure if this is Sierra 6,
Exit
but
right at Sierra 6, Gemstone 7
we're gonna
Bravo.
vacate. Yeah, that's the autopilot, by the way.
Gemstone 93 Bravo, Pupper. Dublin Tower, continue.
I just need to press the red button to
Roger. Gemstone
get rid of that.
93 Bravo Pupper.
Remain seated with your
We'll do that when we get
until
up to the
aircraft has arrived on
point here.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, contact ground 121 decimal.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fastened
Before
seatbelt
leaving the
sign.
aircraft, please
This will
ensure you
indicate
take
that we
all
have
of your
parked at the
personal
gates and
belongings
that it is safe for you
with
to
you,
move about.
including any reading
At this
material
time,
you may
you may
have
use
brought
your
on
cellular
board.
phones if you
Be
wish.
sure to check the seat
Please
pocket in
check
front
around
of
your
you
seat for
and
any
overhead
personal
lockers.
belongings you may have brought on
Please
board
take
with you,
care
and please use
when
caution
opening
when
the
opening the
overhead
overhead
lockers,
bins, as
as
heavy
items
articles
may
may
have
have
shifted
shifted
during the
around
flight.
during the
Just
flight.
waiting for this to clear so I
If
can
you
go through the
require
next
determining
checklist.
assistance,
to
please remain in your
yourself or
seat
fellow
until all other
passengers.
passengers have
For those
deplained.
connecting to another
One of
flight,
our crew
please
members will
follow
then
the
be
signs
pleased
for
to
flight
assist you.
connections.
On
Have
behalf
your
of
boarding
myself,
card ready,
Vera,
as it
and
may
the
be
entire
checked
crew,
by
I'd
airport
like to thank you for
officials.
joining us on this
On
trip,
behalf
and we are
of the
looking forward to
captain
seeing you on
and all
board
of the
again
crew,
soon.
thank you for flying
Have a
with
nice
Air
day.
Liquid today. We hope you've enjoyed your flight, and we look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Thank you, and we wish you a safe onward journey.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to wait that to finish. I've obviously got Pilot's Life in the background, and I've got a custom announcement pack for the aircraft running with it, unfortunately, so nothing I can do about that. Yeah, I just wanted to wait so I can go through the after landing checklist.
Ramp 617 left via Sierra 3, Sierra, Whiskey 2.
So now we would
Foxtrot Zulu.
retract the landing lights to off. strobe would be auto, wing lights remain on, nose lights taxi, your weather radar will be off, your flaps would be up, spoilers retract and disarm, TCAS would be on standby, which is over here. I'll do it, but I won't normally do this because it's just too much messing about. The train would now be off, so it's not on anyway, and that would probably be on standby, the or TA, but I'll leave it as it is. So yeah, train there would be off, and at this point we would actually start the APU. Obviously if you had a co-pilot doing all this with you, you'd be doing this stuff as you were taxiing in with the APU. And the reason why we do the APU is so when we get to the gate and shut the engine off, we'll have power in the aircraft while the GPU and everything is connected. But of course we can then click the APU down there and see what's going on with it. We can put the dome light on if we wanted to, and yeah, that's it. So we can taxi in. So I'm gonna request taxi to the gate. I'm not going to an assigned gate today.
Request taxi to the gate.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, welcome to Dublin Airport. Stay parking or advise if need assignment.
I'm gonna go saying on ramp 51. I expect ramp 51R, but I'm gonna go ramp 414.
Request ramp for 14 Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Gemstone 7 Bravo, ramp 41 for taxi via Sierra 5 Sierra. Hold short runway 16.
And also the ILS mode can come
Ramp
off.
for 1 for via Sierra 5 Sierra.
And you can reset the
Hold
autopilot
short runway 16 Gemstone 7 Bravo.
back down to there.
Gemstone 93 Bravo Pupper, ramp 602 taxi
Okay.
via Sierra 3 Sierra. Whiskey
So
2
we
Whiskey,
can continue.
Whiskey 3.
We can continue the taxi now.
Ramp 602 via Sierra 3 Sierra.
Obviously I wouldn't normally stop
Whiskey 3,
and mess about that
Gemstone
much
93 Bravo Pupper.
with it, but I just wanted to go through the checklist. We could put the Tobii eye tracker on here if you wanted to, which makes taxiing a lot easier. Yeah, normally we'd be well down there by now, but yeah, we left parked there so I can go through that checklist. But like I said, a lot of stuff I don't bother with because you need a lot more than one pair of hands to do it. But yeah, not bad. We made up a lot of time. It is 16:46 local time. UTC time will be 17:46. So yeah, not bad. The reason why I chose Gate 400 because Beyond ATC still uses the old Aer Lingus terminal. They now operate from not just Aer Lingus but Emerald Airlines now operate from I think it's Terminal 2, I can't remember which one it is, but it's on this side. But otherwise we'll be getting sent over, but it don't really matter where you park. I mean, there's a few aircraft over there, one over there, so. But yeah, I wanted to park on the actual terminal you can see in front of us here, which is actually where they do depart and arrive from now. But beyond ATI isn't quite up to scratch with that. But you can use the gate it gives you, but it gives you right over the other end, which is a bit silly in a big Airbus when you're getting parked up with the ATR aircraft. So I was going to wait here because we need to cross this runway.
Gemstone 7 Bravo. Cross runway 16 at Sierra. Continue taxi via Bravo 2, Bravo, Bravo 1.
Cross runway 16 at Sierra. Continue taxi via Bravo 2, Bravo, Bravo 1, Gemstone 7 Bravo.
Okay, to cross the runway you probably put the landing lights back on, I believe. Not 100% sure whether you do put the landing lights on when crossing runways, or we just cross the runways with your taxi light on. But I ain't going to put them on, I'm just going to leave them as they are. So, but I've said it, so if I need to put it in the checklist, I will. Over here. As we get close to the gate, I'm just going to go slower and come to a little stop, so I can do a couple of things that the co-pilot or the pilot night taxiing would probably normally do, and I'll show you that now, and I'll obviously talk through it. Obviously in a simulator you've got one pair of hands, and so you literally can't operate it like a real aircraft, because it's okay, difficult. So there's our gate, so we're going to park here, put the parking brake on, turn off the eye tracker. So at this point you want to turn the taxi light off because you don't want to be blinding people when you turn towards the terminal building. Wing lights can go off, and the APU bleed can go on. I should have turned on the runway lights, runway turn off lights. I should have put them on before we landed as well, and I'll be turning them off at this point as well, so I'll put them in my checklist. We did put the we put the strobes on auto, so at this point there it would be turn off your runway, turn off runway, turn them off, taxi light would go off, the APU bleed would go on, and your strobes would be on auto, but you can turn them off at this point as well. Yep, that's it. And just check on the outside that the APU is on. if you wanted. Yeah, okay, there you go. So you can now carry on and turn into the gate. I'm not putting the 8-track on, so just go here. And you haven't got all this shit. Go to outside view if you wanted to, and have a look on the outside. You would have someone actually telling you, guiding you in. Fortunately, we don't have that in Flight Simulator. So just want to bring it in a bit more. You've got the markers on the ground there, so we are going to be going for the last marker. There we go, that will do us. Parking brake on. Okay, just pause it a little bit now and we'll go through the parking procedure. So first is on idle, which it will be because you're going to use much, so that's back onto idle. Engine masters 1 and 2 you now switch off. The APU is running, so you're not going to lose any electrical power, so we can actually turn engine 1 off. See a little spike in electric there? That means it's gone from the engine power in the aircraft to the APU power again there. If I'm to start the APU at this point, we would have lost all power in the aircraft. It all would have gone off. Because in the real world you can't reconnect the GPU when the engines are running.
Manual and cross-check.
And on the overhead panel, beacon can go off. Well, the APU bleed is on. I don't know why that's there, but it's already on. We can turn off the flight directors on each side. We can turn off that there, the CSTR on the FS. On the overhead panel, anti-ice would go off if they were in use. But I'm not going to leave that one. Fuel pumps can go off. I don't think you can leave one on to run the GPU, but I'm going to turn them off anyway. Now this is where we need to put the external power on, because we can't open the doors until it's all done. So we're gonna the tablet I think has froze. No, hasn't it? Arrived, commenced deboarding. Deboard. Ground services. GPU is connected. PCO is connected. Let's get the stairs in place. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there in the background. What's going on with the... Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Now the GPU is all connected, we can actually turn off the APU. And the APU bleeds, and we can turn on the ground. We should have turned on the exterior power first, then the APU. But never mind. Seatbelt should have gone off as well. Seatbelts can go off now. But people normally get up out of the seats at this point, well before this point. Anyway, transponder and go back onto standby over there. No. Yeah, standby. Yeah, that's it. Cockpit door, you can unlock it at this point. It wasn't locked anyway, but you can unlock it. And because normally you'll go out there and you'll meet the passengers as they're leaving. Somebody will. Yeah, need to open both doors.
Whiskey 2, UPS 207 Heavy.
I see that's going down, so we're deboarding the aircraft. And we're just getting it back to a turnaround state at this point. So, as it was when we loaded it, but it would have loaded it from a turnaround. So, navigation logo can stay on, but we can put them into the one position. Seat belts are still in auto. No smoking in auto. You can leave that. Emergency exits, they're still armed. I'm pretty sure they're still armed in turnaround mode. Dome is as required. Yeah, a fuel pumps I think go off in turnaround mode, so that's okay. And over the overhead panel, you can keep it on, it's as required. If you turn turnaround mode, you might as well keep it on, because you're going to be going turnaround basically. Your chrono, I should have stopped that when we landed. I can't remember what time we landed, but yeah, never mind. APU, check the APU is coming down. There you go, and switch that back to doors, which may have closed automatically because on the Fenix it does. So there's a setting to turn that off. You can just bring the speed on that back down. 0. Get rid of the master caution. At this point you've got a company message, so we go into ATC, return, IARC menu, receive messages, it's your arrival message. So there we go, we can return. Basically it's all reset now, so if you did do another flight, you'll go for the same procedure I did in the earlier on in the video. I'll lead your takeoff config button there, which I should have pressed before we took off, and that's your vehicle button to bring back in just in case got any more warnings. I think that's it. Yeah, the aircraft's back in the turnaround. The only difference is probably the lights would probably be to the opposition, but we're going to keep them as they are. And yeah, that is it. Let's just check. Yeah, see, yeah, he gets rid of the stairs and stuff once the boarding in finishes. You can stop that from doing that by I'll find it in a minute. There's a setting somewhere where you can not let it do that. Sim settings, panel state. We don't want that. You see, it's on turnaround with PCA by default, so next time I load this it'll be on turnaround mode. Yeah, so let's have a look. Where did I see that setting? There's a setting. Cabin light, blah blah blah. If you're right, it's on fast, so I can change that. Yeah, there it is. Auto jetway simulation, auto door simulation. So it basically does it all automatically. So it takes the stairs and stuff away from you. Which is okay because you just put them back on again. But yeah, that's that. That does that. Notice. Yeah, so it's a bit silly taking all the stairs away if your pilots have got to get off, and then the next crew's got to get on. If it's turnaround mode, you'd keep all the stairs there anyway. The IRS simulation, I can't see. Any setting for that to change that. GSX I haven't got. I am thinking about it, but I haven't got it. Cabin announcements, no. So yeah. And while we're in here, I just want to check. It is going dark, so yeah. The floodlights on the main panel do that. So if I turn that off, obviously it does that. So, and it does it on that side. Well, the one on that side, by the way, is the actual pedestal floodlight. So you don't want it bright at night. You don't want it off. You can have it off, but just have it a bit brighter. So probably something like that. And your floodlight for the main panel, you probably don't want it majorly bright, but maybe just a little bit, especially if you're like at cruise level. Anyway, that obviously does that. What other brightness settings have we got? PFD brightness settings, yeah, they do that, but they're okay on standard. ND, yeah, they're okay on standard. That button, by the way, changes the displays over. That is your console floor. You can have it off, dim or bright. Is there anything else? Oh, you got lighting down here, which obviously do these. Those displays. But they're okay as they are on default. And obviously you've got your overhead on as well. Yeah, I think that's the... I'm sure that was the floodlight. It is the floodlight. Yeah. You don't want that on during the night. You'd use that while you're setting the aircraft up at night time or in a dimmed light situation. I think that's it. We've turned it around. We've gone through the checklists. We've landed. We've put it back in a turnaround mode, ready for the next flight. So if I was to use the aircraft again in my next flight from gate 414 in turnaround mode, it'd be like we never left it. So yeah, I need to go over this video and listen to it. Hopefully it's gone through clear. And run through the checklist. This checklist, by the way, is okay. There's some stuff that I'm never going to use. I have sort of gone through this as well, especially the taxis to the gates, securing the aircraft a little bit, but I didn't want to do it cold and dark, so I didn't turn everything off. And obviously your parking, which is how I left it, really on parking. I didn't, the APU went off, but I didn't turn everything off because I wanted to put it in turnaround mode. So yeah, I did follow a bit of this, but it's all here in the video. So if I listen back to the video and write the checklist out. Now if I wanted to power it down to cold and dark, I would literally turn all the lights off. So I put the dome light on, but I'd turn all the other lights off. But you can leave them on because they go off when the batteries kind of go off anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. On the overhead panel, the emergency light disarm. I turn that dome light off there. Crew supply would go off. Obviously your navigation system would all go off as well.
City Air 7 Yankee Yankee, ramp 61 for right taxi via Sierra Tree, Sierra, Whiskey 2.
You can
Ramp 614 right
get rid
via
of
Sierra Tree, Sierra, Whiskey 2.
get rid of that because you've got the dome light on now, so you can see what you're doing. There's only a few basic things that I put on. Obviously you guys have all got off now because I've turned the IRS system off, and you get that warning message there because of that. Yeah, and I think then you would basically knock both batteries off. Still on ground power, so that will come off as well. You can turn off the dome switch there. You can knock off the flood. Back onto the overhead. Knock off the ground power. And you've powered the aircraft down to a cold and dark situation. Obviously I don't know how you turn off these EFBUs, by the way, but you can also knock them off on there as well, and then you leave the aircraft And there you go. The aircraft is cold and dark, as we found it early on in the video. But I will admit, early on in the video when I had it cold and dark, I set it up from a cold and dark, and then I decided then, rather than carry on from that procedure, because I wanted to show how to do it from a cold and dark situation, I then chose to switch to a turnaround mode in the EFB, and unfortunately something went wrong with the aircraft and it had a warning, and after messing with it, after pushing it back, it all went dead. So I had to kind of pause the video, reset it and come back in. But normally I'll just start the aircraft from a turnaround point of view, as a crew taking over, or an aircraft that's been set up with the flight engineers who've already done it. And I find that sometimes with some aircraft, when if I'd have left it from the cold and dark situation and carried on my checklists, it would have been fine. But because I switched it back to a turnaround mode on here, it didn't like it. So it's best when you load the aircraft in initially at the start of your day, or at the start of your game, don't touch the panel states. So when I load in now from a turnaround mode, I won't go to cold and dark mode like I did earlier. I went from cold and dark mode, and then I decided then, rather than do this initial setup, I wanted to make sure it was as expected, as I wanted it. It went into a turnaround mode, and the aircraft didn't like it in the end. But once I reset the aircraft in turnaround mode and reprogrammed the flight plan and everything else and pushed it back, it took me about 5-10 minutes. It's not on the video. It operated fine. So just a tip going forward, that in a sophisticated aircraft like this, it doesn't like switching between the modes. A lot of aircraft don't like doing that. So, but normally I always start from turnaround mode, so I get everything's aligned, and all I've got to do at that point is do the checklist from when I started from the turnaround mode, which is in this video. And normally it takes 10-15 minutes, and you push back and you're gone. So yeah, so I look back at this video and go through the checklists, put them in my own checklist, which is what the purpose of the video was. And yeah, I've got to do this again for the Boeing 737s as well, but and possibly the ATR. But yeah, it's been good, and I don't think I've missed anything out. I probably confused myself a little bit, so I'll have to watch the video back as I'm writing out my checklist for it. But I think I've covered everything in it that I need, including this. So I think I've got the information I need from this video. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this one. So this has been the Fenix Airbus A320. Basically a checklist flight from gate to gate. It's gone from Brest in France to Dublin in Ireland. Using the pilot's live chat to, I've done the flight plan in it, and I've also gone through my own checklist. Some of it off the top of my head, some of it using a checklist I downloaded, some of it I've written down using someone else's video, but I'm obviously going to put it into my own checklist. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here now to Thank you and goodbye.